kids both have friends over, and my mom's here, and the 2 dogs and the cats. So I shut myself up because we're in this open house. There's nowhere I can go. Yeah.
That's the problem with an open floor plan, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we loved it in the beginning, and now I'm like, I hate this open floor plan. Oh gosh.
All right. Well, we are live for episode 29 of the InnerStrength Empowerment Hour. You guys always catch us mid-conversation because I never know the exact moment when we're going to go live. So we are discussing landscaping and open floor plans today. So we may continue that discussion with you all later. But thank you for joining us for this episode. I would like to not only welcome my success coaches, Joanne and LT, but also my client, Mary Lou, who has been kind enough to join us today and talk to us a bit about her journey. And today we're talking about keeping promises to yourself. And this is huge. We all know that, but when I put up this particular topic, that's me. When I put up this particular topic, we got a lot of feedback from people saying, you know, I'm not keeping promises to myself. And this has been a big problem for me. So I'm excited to dive into this. So I wanted to talk to Mary Lou first, because that way, if she has to go and get on with her day, that she doesn't have to listen to us gab for the next hour and a half, as we are prone to do. So do you want to tell us anything about yourself? I guess before we start, tell us something about you.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm at work right now, so I'm hoping I don't get any interruptions, but
yeah. What state are you in?
Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah.
It's nice and sunny today.
Yeah. Here as well in Ohio. So I will take it for sure. So when did you feel like the beginning of what was going on in your life, when you felt like I'm no longer, or I'm not keeping promises to myself? Do you remember a time?
I can't say an exact time, but I do know over the years, I've tried many diets and programs and have failed and couldn't stick with them. And I just felt like, well, I must not be good at it, or I must be doing something wrong, because it just never lasted.
Right.
And I guess in a sense, I was breaking that promise to myself every time I tried something.
Mm-hmm. Right. Where do you have any sense in your life of where that stems from? Did you like, for instance, did you see adults keeping promises to themselves in your life?
Oh yeah, I always saw other people have success at things, but I never could. And I just felt that I must be doing something wrong.
Right.
But I think, pretty much all my life, I've been trying to please other people instead of pleasing myself. And I think maybe that's part of it,
the boundaries.
I have always been like, I worry about what other people think, or maybe I'm going to offend them if I do a certain thing. And I think, I was more concerned about others than I was myself. So I did not put myself first.
Yeah, I think that's really common with women. And we've actually talked about that quite a lot, not only in our group, as you know, but here on the program. So before you started the program, how much weight did you need to lose? And what were some of the obstacles that you were facing in terms of yourself, your fitness, things you were trying to do?
Well, I think I probably I have to lose a lot of weight. I did set a goal, but I'm not sure if I'll stop there.
Yeah.
But, like last year, even after all these diets that failed, like I did lose some weight with some of them, but then you get off of their program and then everything comes back and then some.
Right.
But I think when last year, I started this program on New Year's. And I think like throughout last year, I was at my worst. I was, just exhausted all the time. And I was addicted to food. Like sweets and bread and, all carby stuff. And I just couldn't, yeah, I just couldn't fight the addictions, and it was like when you get, and I always made a joke of it, like I didn't wait to eat till I got hungry. I ate so I don't get hungry.
Right.
But you always find the foods that are not good for you.
Right.
And that was a big obstacle for me, and not knowing how to get past that.
Right. And that's, hopefully now you have a better understanding with the bliss point and some of the things that we've talked about of why we all struggle with that. These foods are
Yes.
physically addictive. We feel bad about ourselves because we don't know that we're consuming addictive foods. And we think it's just me. I can't stop. I can't
Right.
stop. I don't know why. So, what are some of the small victories that you experienced when you first signed up? Because I know too that you signed up because of a friend who's had a lot of success on the program and she was trying to talk to you about it. So I know that's why you signed up, but what are some of the things at the beginning that kind of kept you going?
Well, like within the first week, my bloat was gone. I was no longer bloated. My heartburn disappeared. My cravings disappeared.
Yep.
And I started feeling less tired, and, my energy levels started coming up, and my gut just felt better. I just felt good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I always tell people is that we all want to look great, and looking great is amazing, right? But the thing that actually keeps you going is not that, it's how you feel. And when
Right.
you realize you can feel so much better, then that is like, you were like, I never want to feel the way I felt before again. So
Right.
I want to keep this going.
Yes. Yeah. Because I definitely knew I had weight to lose, but I can honestly say, when I talked to you the first time, the weight was not my number one issue. I just wanted to feel good.
Right. And at the time, I remember you saying, I used to spend all this time outdoors, and I'm not doing that now because I'm in pain with my knees, and I'm just, I just can't get back into it. So what has happened since then? Tell us how you're doing now.
Well, I am now, I guess about 4.5 months in, and I've lost 18 pounds, and I just feel a lot better. My legs, they're not healed completely, but they don't feel as tired. I'm able to hike again. And before, my knees would just buckle on me for no reason at all. And I fell a couple times because of that. And I don't have that anymore. My clothes fit better. I am now, I don't know if you saw it, I am now a little over a week off of my blood pressure medication.
Yes, I'm so excited about that. I saw that this morning.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's exciting. That's
yeah,
I've been trying for that for the last few years. My cardiologist has wanted me to try to get off of that medication, and I just couldn't because my symptoms came back. So
Right. So, and tell us what, I know you've had some milestones in terms of getting outdoors and your exercise. So tell us about that.
Yes. So my husband and I used to go hiking every weekend before. And then a couple years ago, we had family issues and we became inactive. And I was probably inactive for, I don't know, 1.5 years or something. And that's when my legs really started to go. And then I wasn't able to go hiking. I mean, I wasn't able to even like go on the trail to just do a simple walk. It was just, I was just exhausted. I didn't, I couldn't hardly go up and down the stairs. I didn't feel like getting out of bed in the morning. I didn't want to go to work. I honestly, I just didn't want to do life. But now things are looking up, and we're back to our hiking. I'm doing my walks every week, and I'm getting stronger all the time, and it's looking much better.
It's so exciting. And
Yes.
I know you also, you posted a picture of doing your Pilates outside,
Yes.
like in front of like a waterfall or something, which is so amazing. So, yeah, it's so exciting when you feel like you're really getting your life back. And like you said, that's not just about the weight. That's about so much more than that. It's about feeling good about yourself, feeling also not having the pain and inflammation,
Right. Right.
which is enormous for many of us. So I know you need to wrap things up. So what would you say the biggest shift has been in your mindset about this journey?
Well, I put myself first now.
Yeah.
I'm learning to love myself again, I'm setting boundaries, and that's a really good feeling. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm choosing to focus on how far I've come instead of how far I have to go.
Yes.
And I
Right.
still, I have days that aren't as good as others, but I give myself grace. Grace over guilt is my motto. And that's,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a
Yeah. It's really, like you said, you have to come from a place where you're loving yourself and also embracing the journey, and not just every day getting up and going, why am I not there yet? And so when you really start to embrace the journey, which is what you're doing, that you're just loving yourself along the way and experiencing these victories and really being present for that, instead of always waiting for that end result to happen.
right.
So, um, so do you feel like people view you differently as well?
That's kind of hard to say because with the way the world is today, we're not around a lot of people.
True.
We are just actually now starting to get out of the staying at home phase. So
Mhm.
I'm meeting with my sisters next week, which I haven't seen them, in months. So that'll be a good test for me, I guess. But I haven't really been around very many people. So, but I will say though, like there's, at work where I did set my boundaries. One person especially treats me a little bit different because of that boundary. I mean, she accepted the boundary, and I think I feel good about myself and I feel differently about her,
Yeah.
and we now have our conversations are so much better. And I think, I think she does view me different.
Yeah. Yeah. That is the cool thing, is when we start looking differently at ourselves and feeling differently about ourselves and setting those boundaries with other people, they do start treating you differently. They
Yeah.
view you differently. And so the way you're showing up in the world is different, and your energy is felt by other people, and that's exciting. So that's a lot of great stuff for only a little over 4 months in the program. So I am really excited, and I know that LT is your coach, and that that you guys have done these great things together, and you're always talking about what a great inspiration she's been, and so I appreciate that as well.
Yes, I'm
And
sorry I have a sketchy connection, but I am so proud of you, Mary Lou, and so proud for you. And I just think that you have just done a remarkable job. You've been very coachable. You've been very inspiring to me, and I want to thank you for keeping promises to yourself, because you've really shown up for yourself and you've shown up for the group.
Good.
Well, I appreciate that, and you have been a huge help to me along this journey.
Oh, thank you.
And I will say one thing that's different about this from other things that I've done is the mindset. That's huge for me. And there's no deprivation,
Right.
I never feel like I can't eat certain things, and I might add, I'm now a month meat free. So
Yes,
that's
that's wonderful.
that's a new thing for me too.
Yeah. Your
Good.
heart thanks you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that is that, I mean, that's why I post so many pictures of our food because we're eating all the time. We're definitely not deprived, but for those who may not know, mindset is a big part of what we do. And it is huge in your journey because the weight is really a symptom and it's other things that we have to work on to get you to where you need to be. And mindset's a big part of that, and boundaries. So thank you so much, Mary Lou, for coming on. We really appreciate it. I will let you get back to your day, but congratulations on the success that you've had so far. And obviously we will look forward to continuing to monitor your success in the group.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was amazing. I know how proud you are of her, LT. And
Yes.
I mean, I remember the first conversation I had with her, and she could barely walk without her legs buckling. And so she recently posted a picture of her out in nature on a hike, doing Pilates, doing a side plank. And we were all like,
a side plank on a big rock.
I know.
That she had to hike to get to.
I know.
Right?
We
I mean,
like,
it's remarkable. She really is. She is such a kind person, and she really has taken every one of these teachings to heart, and she has been the big factor in that because of it. And she's very inspirational to the group. She puts out in spades.
Yeah, she's definitely encouraging, and everybody in the group is so, I mean, they're just so on board with everyone else's success.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if anyone, if you don't follow my main page, which is plant-based weight loss and vibrant health, then you can go and look that up and follow it. But I posted a meme this morning with Oprah that going like, you get a boundary and you get a boundary and you get a boundary. So boundaries is a big part of what we talk about in the group, because it is really crucial for you keeping promises to yourself. But let's get back to that in a minute. I want to ask you guys some of the same questions that I asked Mary Lou. So when did you can you recall a time when you became self-aware that you weren't keeping promises to yourself, like you were letting yourself down?
I think in college I started really letting myself down when I kind of I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and then I changed my mind based on what my family was pressuring me to do. And that has felt wrong since the day it happened. And so I feel like that was a big moment of when I realized I was letting myself down. And I think that it just paved the way for me to just keep doing it. Like it was just, I don't know what kind of magic it had, but as soon as I said no to myself and yes to other people, it was like that was going to be my pattern for the next 20 years.
Right. And I think, like we've talked about, a lot of women or most women, that's kind of how we're raised. You want to be pleasing to other people, and that becomes the focus. So is that where you feel it came from for you? Like it wasn't, because I know, like in my situation, I continually saw my mom not keeping promises to herself. So I know there was, like I saw that pattern and I learned it, in addition to the societal things that we're put under. But do you feel like that, there was anything in your life that sort of set you up for that? Or do you feel like it was really just the way things went with society?
I mean, I guess it must have been, because how many times did my mom break promises to herself and to our family with the domestic violence that we lived in? Every single time that my stepdad would be removed from the home by the police, it was, that's it. We're not living like this anymore. That's going to be it. A couple days later, guess what? We were in the honeymoon phase, going on a vacation somewhere. And then you know how long that lasts. And then it started all over again. So, I mean, I guess maybe that's what I was taking in. And even on my dad's side, like with the drug abuse and the alcohol, like how many times did they say, I'm not going to do that anymore? And, you know, I really truly believe that these people wanted to change. Like, I just think they were in such a bad place themselves that they didn't know how to keep promises to themselves. So I guess that's just what I saw, what I knew.
Yeah. So so we actually learn that behavior from watching others, I think, is how not to keep promises to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And what it looks like to sabotage yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And we adopt patterns without even realizing it. What about you, LT? Did you have any experience with that?
I think the first time I noticed it for myself was college when I gained my freshman 25, not 15. And I did lose it, but then came back. And, you know, as we've said before, Weight Watchers depends on repeat business, and they got it out of me because over the course of my lifetime, I have joined 5 times. And I was a lifetime member in college back when you kept it off for a certain amount of time. So I never had to pay that rejoining fee when I came back for those 5 times, but I had to pay that weekly fee because I was never within my goal. And that just started the 30-year yo-yo of up and down. And I was not up the whole time. I was down too, but I was never where I wanted to be for any length of time. And normally my threshold was 6 months, and it didn't take me very long to find a problem or a snag. And when I found it, I was gone. And I'm telling you, it didn't take much is what I'm saying. You know, I really bailed very quickly. And that's where I really learned that I'm not keeping promises to myself, because I was such a flip-flopper. I really was. I just could not stick with anything for any amount of time. Something was wrong with it. And I made something wrong with it. I think I sabotaged myself for a lot of this, you know, so this I don't even think about going back on, because it truly has become who I am, and I enjoy what I'm doing, and I love all the benefits that I have, and I love what I'm eating. I can't even imagine going back because I don't want to feel that way again. I feel like I'm just like a machine that's running very well now. Yes. And I'm talking about head to toe, from sleep to digestion to mood to disposition to energy to endurance. I'm not talking about just sizes and numbers. I mean, it's a whole package deal going on.
Yeah, I think that, and I want to say too, I did Weight Watchers 3 times. Tina has commented she did Weight Watchers too. I think I've done many posts on this about Weight Watchers. They get the bulk of their income and success over the past 50 years has been repeat business, because it works for a little while, you fall off, and because it's cheap, you go back to it. And that's how they keep you roped in. So yeah, a lot of us have yo-yo dieted with Weight Watchers for many years. And it's a horrible feeling when you feel like you can't trust yourself. You know, I would always, you have that moment, right? When you're doing really well on whatever program you're on. And you have that moment where you go, I'm doing okay. I'm just going to eat this.
Right.
And then I won't eat anything for the rest of the day.
Right.
And there it goes from there.
Right. It won't be a big deal. It's just this one time. It's just this one night. Tomorrow, back on it. Oh my gosh, endless times I've said to myself.
And it's a combination of the fact that you're on a deprivation diet, and the fact that you haven't developed, you're not working on mindset. So you don't have the coping mechanisms to make better choices. And so we're letting ourselves down again and again.
Yes.
But like we've talked about, that's a societal thing too, because in this country, especially, women are expected to do it all, be really good at all of it, and look good while doing it.
And not ever eat, not ever get hungry and never want to eat.
Right. So there's just, it's a ridiculous amount of pressure and unrealistic that you would never set boundaries, that you would be able to do everything well, and that you would look amazing while you're doing all of it. It's not realistic. And so it's easy to see why we give up again and again. because it wasn't a realistic goal to begin with. Yeah, Lori says, I'm thankful to have found you coming off of Weight Watchers. Yeah. So I get a lot of Weight Watchers people. So what were your biggest obstacles in terms of, keeping promises to yourself before you started this program? What do you feel like your biggest issues were?
With boundaries or just not having,
whatever.
yeah, like I had no boundaries. Like that was
Yeah.
my biggest obstacle. And I guess I didn't have the self-confidence to set boundaries or know the right way to do it. I think I just was angry all the time at everyone for not doing what I thought they should be doing, but I wasn't establishing good communication in saying what my needs were. I was just like, I wasn't saying what my needs were. I was just mad that everybody wasn't meeting them, you know, and I guess that was a skill that I really needed to learn, and to learn how to stand up for myself and say, okay, this is what I need. And, this is how it's going to look. And here's, if you're not on board with that, I'm not mad. It's just, it's not how I'm going to live.
Yeah. Yeah. Setting boundaries is a skill.
Yeah.
And because it's not a negotiation process, and you're not mad while you're doing it.
No.
So that's where people really, I have women, they'll be like, well, I told him, or I said to, that I don't like this. And then he said this. And so then we did, and I'm like, no, that's, you had a discussion and an argument. That's not the same as you just saying, this is it. And I'm comfortable with my boundaries. It requires you to have confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
And then it requires you to love yourself enough to be okay with people being uncomfortable. Because we, as women, I feel like we want everyone to be, we don't want anybody to be uncomfortable.
Right.
We're willing to take that on ourselves, and we don't want it for anybody else. The slightest little thing. I can remember, I've talked to you guys about when I was training for a half marathon, that I would do all these things before I left. Like I would, feed the animals and get dinner partially ready. I was doing all this stuff, even though my son, he was like 13, and my husband were home, because I didn't want, I would be gone for a couple hours, and I didn't want, them to have to do anything. And one day I was just like, why am I doing this? These are capable people
right.
And why am I doing all of this? Like, I can leave the house for a couple of hours. They do, like, why is it just me? And so it requires you to look at things differently. And that takes some courage.
It definitely does. And I was looking to other people to make me happy. And, happiness is really an inside job. And so when you're looking to other people are fallible. They're going to let you down. And when something was going wrong with other people, I just said it crumbled. And I just allowed myself to crumble because I was depending on them. I was not depending on myself because I was too flip-floppy with my emotions. Right. And, our emotions and our feelings, and when we personalize things, can just be all over the map in any given 30-minute period. So, no wonder that you're up and down. And so to self-soothe, you eat, or you lull yourself, or you distract yourself, or, whatever you use coping mechanism for food for. I mean, we all have a different fill in the blank for what we do, but that was definitely what I was doing. And then here comes the cycle of now I'm disappointing myself because I can't get it together. Something's wrong with me, and I'm always up and down. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I present. The self-confidence was definitely gone because I was in the background, and I'm really not a background person. I'm really,
you don't say.
Like to engage with people, but yeah, can you imagine? So I was really not really wanting to participate in a lot. And that's where a lot of isolation came in. And I remember doing that early on when the children were very little, especially my son. And I really isolated a lot. And that led me on a path that I just really didn't want to be on. And my thoughts just had a natural tendency to be more dark than they did bright,
Right. Yeah, I think, when our mindset isn't right, to go back to one of the first things you said, we are so dependent on all the circumstances going well,
Yes.
and everyone else behaving perfectly, because we are the caboose on this train.
Right.
We're being thrown around by everything and everyone else. And so part of what we work on in the program is becoming the engine, so that you're setting the direction and the tone, not just being at the mercy of whatever is going on, because that is why we get overwhelmed, and we end up breaking these promises to ourselves. And then it just does snowball, because the more you do it, the worse you feel about yourself.
Yes.
And when you don't have any confidence in yourself, and you feel loathing towards yourself, you're not going to be keeping any promises.
No.
You're in the rut. You can't get out.
Right.
But I think another thing that happens that's really important to talk about is the ruminating. And in the way that always showed up for me was, first, it was the debate, right? So should I go work out today? Should I eat the healthy meal that I had planned today? And then I would debate that for a while. And then I would move into the argument phase. Well, why should, I've had a rough day. I cannot deal with this. I'm not doing this today. Why should I have to, blah, blah, blah. That would move again into the bargaining phase. Well, I'm just going to work out twice as hard tomorrow, so I might as well just go ahead, and so by the time you get done with all of that, you are exhausted. And that we live our lives that way. And it's like when we have, I know that you guys have kids. If you have kids or have been around kids, or if you've been a kid, then this is their MO, to just wear you down with arguments. And we do it to ourselves. And that's how the promise gets broken, because we are arguing and debating with ourselves, and we give ourselves the power to do that.
Right. And then we get so fed up with ourselves because we can't pull it together that we go get a tub of ice cream. So, and then, here you go again. And, when people can keep a promise to other people, that's being responsible. But when you can keep a promise to yourself, that's being successful.
Right.
And I think that's what I did, was I just caved way too easy on too many things, and just thought it's too hard. It's not fair. I told myself it's not fair. I mean, my gosh, we could all go on a trip around the world if I had $1 for every time I said that to myself, because I was looking at other people. But other people, I was acting like that it was just easy for them. It may have not been easy for them at all. They may have been really disciplined and had a plan, and were making a food prep and doing that exercise and drinking that water. But I just looked at the end result. I wasn't looking at what it took to get there.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not fair to me. I was not being fair.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, we project onto other people. And that also, it gives you an easy out, right? Because it's not easy for you, but it's easy for them. That's why they can do it.
Right.
So these are the games. We play games with ourselves, and it allows us to stay small and stay in our comfort zones, even though our comfort zones are not comfortable. It allows us to stay there because that's what we're used to. And we can bypass that. And that's a lot of what we work on, because what I do with clients is not therapy. I'm not a licensed therapist or anything like that. What I do is allow or give them tools to bypass all this resistance. That's it. It's, I've been in therapy, and I think it's great to take a deep dive into some of your issues and to really look at things and process those things with somebody is great. But I know for me, at some point, I was done doing that, and I just was like, now I just need to know how to move forward. All of that stuff happened, and it's in the past.
Right.
And I just need to unload it so I can live my life the way that I want to.
Yeah.
And so that's what we work on in the group, is bypassing that resistance. Because as soon as when you give power to that voice that's telling you whatever, whether it's saying it's not fair, other people can do it, but you can't, or like Joanne said, other people's needs are more important. These debates that go on in our heads, as soon as you give license to that, it's like letting your kid go at you for 6 hours about going to their friend's house when you know it's not a good idea. It's like eventually you just get worn down. And that's in that, and you do it to yourself. And so we work on tools to bypass your own BS, getting out of your own way. So Gina says, I feel so good in the 3 weeks I've been in the program. This time is different for me. I am planning for events that I need to attend and not worrying about what anyone is going to say. I'm putting myself first for the first time and it feels good. I'm hoping that everyone will see not only my results, but how I feel. When getting ready to attend a family function, I would set myself up with a mindset that of what I'm going to wear, and telling myself, I don't like the way I look. Nothing looks good on me. So depressing. We've all been there.
Yeah.
And now I have a different attitude and I'm already fitting into smaller clothes and it feels so good. My mindset is to change my lifestyle this time for my health. Right. Yeah. That's the other thing is we get so focused on the symptom, which is the weight, that we can't see the whole journey that needs to happen for us to permanently lose that weight and feel better. So that's a great example of changing your attitude in everyday life and how that just frees you up to be a happier person.
Yes, and how you can look at today as it is. Even you can look from meal to meal as they are. I borrowed so much trouble from tomorrow instead of, and it made me lose all today. And so that was the main difference that I started with you, is I really started doing daily work. And that's what I viewed it. I viewed it as a gift, and I viewed my mantras. I can do this today. And then the next day I got up and I said, I can do this today. And now it's been over a year and I'm where I want to be. So that's the difference, is that I always was looking ahead and borrowing trouble.
Right. Yeah. We just like everything else that we hear, like, you know, the whole thing about meditation and yoga and things that we know that are good for us, spending time out in nature, is being present in this moment.
Yes.
And not constantly being worried about what happened in the past. Because that's something I was very much stuck in the past for me. It wasn't so much for me worrying about what was going to happen. It was just not being able to unload stuff that had already happened. And projecting that onto the future, like, you know, it's always going to be like this. I can't get out.
Right.
So no matter what what poison we've picked to punish ourselves, we're not being in the present moment. And that also, you aren't, like, what I noticed when I started doing yoga is that I was holding my breath all the time because I was I was always in fight or flight mode. I was always so stressed. You're just always holding all of this toxic crap in terms of your emotions in there. And then we wonder why we can't keep a promise to ourselves. You know, I mean, it's not a mystery when we look at it that way. But things need to be put in place. It's not just having the right eating plan. It is having a different mindset about how you get to your goals. So what about for you guys? What are some of the small victories that you have experienced, you know, towards the beginning that really kept you going? Because that I think that's key. Like, when you start experiencing success right away, it's motivational, right? I mean, we all know that. So what are some of the smaller things that happened right away that made you feel like, not just on the scale, that's super important, because we all know, we see that drop on the scale, we're like, yes, but the things that make you feel like, okay, this is making me feel more confident in keeping promises and honoring and being true to myself.
So mine was, because I was like Mary Lou, when I came into this program, my health was in a really poor place. So, and I was really shocked at how quickly I started to see improvement. And so for me, some of the small victories had to do with seeing the inflammation go down. And like Mary Lou had her knees buckle, I was having this problem that I could not get rid of. My ankle, my left ankle would buckle. And I mean, at the most random time, and I would just like, lose my balance and just stumble because it would really just buckle and lock up, and it was excruciating. And so when those things like went away within the first couple of weeks, and you don't really notice it at first, and then you're like, my ankle hasn't locked up or buckled in a week or two. Like those little things, or like, just being able to like see your collarbone or see your knuckles again, where my hands didn't look like Mickey Mouse mittens, like just those little things where you go, I'm actually healing myself. Like my health is improving. And for me, that was huge, because the more that stuff went away, the more I was capable of, the stronger I felt, the more time I could invest doing fun things, instead of just like, I'm on the couch, I can't get up, I just want to sit here and binge watch something all night. I was able to check back in more. And that, for me, I'm like LT. I don't want to be in the back row. I'm front and center person, but I couldn't be for so long because I just physically couldn't do it. So when I started getting little tiny bits of that back, I was like, I want more, because and ever since the first couple of weeks, even a couple of weeks ago, I'm still doing things that I couldn't do in my previous life, and it just keeps improving. So it's just like keeps pulling me to want more and more and more. And that's where my motivation comes from. It's not even, I really hardly look at the scale anymore, because I know where I'm at, I know where I want to be, and I'm physically in the place where I've always wanted to be now. And I know it will keep me going.
Yes. And I have very similar stories to that. Really the clarity of my thinking improved within that first week. After that first week, I really started looking at things with different eyes. I really did. And then my sleeping improved right away. My menopausal night sweats just all of a sudden disappeared, and I have not had them since. And that was debilitating for me. A rash that I'd had under my arm for 10 plus years went away. My energy had improved. I was not going to the gym because I thought I had to, or to do a checklist, or, it was expected of me. I wanted to go. Then I started missing it if I didn't do it. So now it's part of me. I prioritize it. It's part of my day. The cravings really went away, and I was, Diet Coke. Oh my gosh. And then the Little Debbie's, or any type of little sugary, snacky pastry type cake, a cinnamon roll, drawn to that, and just really started looking at them in a whole new way. And I was very coachable, and I read all the things that you wrote, and I started reading what happens to the body, and just other doctors that are plant-based that, advertise for this. And that just really convinced me that I am so on the right path. And it was just like, why isn't everybody doing this? It really became one of that. Like, why am I just now doing this? Why didn't I do this 25 years ago? It was one of those type aha moments. And I keep getting them. I keep getting aha moments all the time. I'm not done yet.
That's really important to say, that it isn't just the scale. Because if it's only the scale that's keeping you going, and you have a week where you didn't lose, or a week where you're up a pound or whatever, you're completely thrown off. And that alone can make you not keep promises to yourself. You're like, well, forget it. I was good all week and I gained a pound. Forget it. I'm not doing this. That's the way that we start thinking. But when you have these other victories that you are looking at, and not just the scale, and for reference, LT has lost over 80 pounds and Joanne has lost over 50. I've lost over about 60, but as we're telling you, those aren't the things that we focused on. We focused on health. We focused on getting our mindset right. We focused on creating the best version of ourselves. And the result was we lost the weight. Rather than doing this the way that, our society tells us to do it, which is to look at the weight first and, base everything on that. And that does lead to self-sabotage when that's all that you're looking at, instead of that just being one marker of how things are going. But you can bypass, I want to make sure that everyone here listens to this, because you can bypass all of that crap going in your, to your head. It really, once you understand that that's just a loop that's running, you can, when that happens to me now, it's still, I still hear it every once in a while. It's not as loud as it used to be, but I just I acknowledge it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's that loop that's been running for about 40 years now. So I'm just going to keep going, because the failure happens when you give it power, when you start listening and arguing with it. That's when you start really, it's just like with your kids, can I go over to nope. Once you make it that be the end of it, that's one thing. But if you start like, well, I don't really think you should go, and they're like, but I think this, and you're like, well, but it turns into this huge thing that goes on forever. Like, it's the same thing with yourself. You have got to shut that down. And that is a big part of how you keep those promises, is by not giving that power. And of course, there's more to it that we work on in the group, but that's a big part of it right there.
It really is. And when you talk about finding your self-worth and your number, you're exactly right. Because I remember all those years of Weight Watchers. And if the number on the scale was favorable after you lined up in a herd, I had a pretty good week until some kind of craving or something was brought in the house. And then I just dove into it. But if I had a bad morning on that Weight Watcher scale, they shared a parking lot with the Sonic. So I would pull my little car in and go get me a Sonic Blast when I had a bad day on the scale. Okay, now did that make sense? No, it did not. But that's what I did. And then guess what? Weight Watchers never works for me. Why do I even come here? And here we go.
Right.
Ridiculous. But I did that. Fill in the blank for any program. I did that, with Nutrisystem. I did it with Medi Weight Loss. I was on 26, fill in the blank. I mean, that's what I did.
Yeah, so a lot of these, going back to what Mary Lou said, and this is, I'm actually going to do we'll either do a show, or I'm going to do a big post on this, but a lot of these programs are based on deprivation, and that has actually clinically never been shown to work. That's why repeat business is Weight Watchers' main source of income, because it works for a little while. And then we fall off the wagon and we're like, oh, well, that worked for me for a little while, so I'm going to get back on that. And we just go back again and again and again, instead of getting the light bulb moment that this is not a sustainable solution. Depriving myself through calories is not the way to do this, because it's not working. We just keep thinking it's us, and we keep going back, especially when they every year they're like, it's Weight Watchers reimagined, and they add some shiny new component, but it's still Weight Watchers. So, but it makes you feel like you're doing something a little bit different. And it's geared towards people too, who aren't committed because it's so cheap, because you're just like, you don't have to be that committed. You're like, well, how many times have I heard somebody say, well, if it doesn't work out, I've only spent this much money. Right. And we do that all the time with all kinds of stuff. So that's why they make it cheap. So, and we've all been in the revolving door. So Gina says we had a donut shop next to our Weight Watchers. Do you think so? I was gotta wonder if they're doing this on purpose, right? They're in cahoots somehow.
Right.
All right. So for you guys, how has your view of yourself changed as you have made this commitment to yourself?
Well, for me, I recognize now that, because how we talk about being the caboose rather than the engine, I felt stuck for a long time. I felt stuck where I was living. I felt stuck in my situation with my job. I felt stuck with, I was a stay-at-home mom for all those years. I just felt stuck all the time in everything, and that I couldn't make a good decision. because every decision I made led me to be more stuck. And that mindset is completely gone now. And I think, like we always talk about, getting your physicality fixed first, getting that brain fog gone, being able to think clearly, and being able to just get off the couch because you're not so fatigued. When you start to have a little bit of that, and then you start to be the engine instead of the caboose, and you realize you're not stuck, and that really anything is at your fingertips, whatever it is you choose to do, or to places to go, or, you know, things to go see, you can do it. You can actually do it. You're not stuck. Nobody is sitting on top of you saying, no, you can't go. You've set boundaries. And so you've structured your whole life. It's not just about eating and what you can or you can't, or you will or you won't eat. It's about structuring your whole life with boundaries, with, you know, the mindset work, so that you have the freedom to stop acting like you're stuck, or to stop feeling stuck, because that's a terrible place to be.
It is.
So I mean, having that gone is almost better than having lost 50 pounds, because I actually have hope in what my future is going to look like. You know, my kids are leaving for school in 2 years. Then what? Then what? And now I'm like, ooh, then what? Now, you know, now I'm excited about it. I don't feel stuck. I feel like, well, okay, that's a new chapter. I'm excited about it, rather than like, oh, well, I just spent my whole life taking care of them, and then they're just going to up and leave me. You know how many times I hear that from my own mom? Like literally yesterday, my sister and I were in a group chat texting saying, the house prices are so high right now. We're like, oh my God, it's so tempting to just sell our houses and get all that money. And my mom said, don't go anywhere. Don't you girls go anywhere. Stay where you're at. And I said, I'm sorry, but in 2 years, you know my plan. I'm going to be on a beach. And she said, and I'm not even kidding you, oh, okay, you guys are just going to go leave your mother to die alone. There you go. Like the whole, like setting a boundary, like nobody's leaving her. I said, no, sister, pack a bag. You're going with me, because I'm not staying in Illinois. I'm sorry. Like, you know, it's just that mindset of being stuck and having everyone around you keep you feeling that way when you don't know how to set the boundary.
Well, and looking at it from your mom's point of view, which is where a lot of people end up mentally, like thinking my life depends on other people.
Right.
My happiness depends on everybody else. And when women don't develop their own identity outside of their children, then when their children aren't around, they don't know, they feel like they don't have anything left.
Right.
And so that's, you know, I'm always telling women, like, this time in our lives, as our kids are getting older and leaving home and all of that, that can be the best time of your life.
Yes.
You know, or at least an amazing new chapter. So yeah, I never want to be one of those moms who's saying stuff like that. Like I don't want to lay a guilt trip on my kids about those things. I want to be happy. I want them to be happy. I want to be close with my kids, but I don't want them to feel like I can't go live my life because I don't want my mom's going to die alone.
Right.
You
I
know?
mean, my kids think I'm completely nuts, and I want them to think that. Like, I want them to think, oh my God, what is she doing now? Like, what is she up to? What is she doing next? Like, I've got plans, and hold on, because they're coming.
That's right. Yeah, we can all live that way if we choose, instead of, you know, when you can start to rely on yourself to be healthy and to be happy, and not to that's the other thing that I it's sort of a trigger for me, is when you know, people don't take care of themselves and then they expect other people to take care of them.
Right.
Because they've gotten to the point where they're so sick now and on medications and all of these things that they can't take care of themselves. That's not fair to the people around you. It's one thing if something befalls you, but it's another thing if you just don't take care of yourself and then you end up, you know, unable to do it, and then somebody else, you know, you feel so guilty that they have to step in. Like that's not, you know, I don't ever want anybody to feel that way about me. And so, and I've put the word on my husband as well. You know, when he's not taking care of himself, I'm like, listen, bud, you know, this is not my life goal to take care of you because you're not taking care of yourself. So you need to get it together, because otherwise you're going to be in a home or something. I don't know. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know,
Right.
that sounds a little harsh, but you guys know what I mean. I'm just saying, I think that we have to take care of ourselves. We owe that to ourselves and the people around us to do the best that we can. So do you think people, well, I know you said this, Joanne, in what about ULT? Do you feel like people now, because you see yourself differently and treat yourself differently, how do you think other people see you?
I definitely think I'm presenting differently, because, you know, it's fun when our kids, you know, are at this age, 18 and almost 22, and they want their friends to be around us. And they have them all in here right now. And they were here last night, some of them. And I can tell that they like us being around them, because we're kind of the fun mom and dad, and we're always laughing and cutting up and doing something. So it's not like, because it's like, Mom, come in here, I want you to see. Da, da, da. So I like that aspect, because I know that my eyes light up when I'm doing things that I like and that I enjoy. I don't feel like I'm being dragged to anything anymore. I feel like I'm choosing. I look forward to every morning and what the day is going to hold. Before, in my old life, I really couldn't wait for the day to be over. I just was almost going to bed early because I was ready to, you know, put the book on it right then. But, you know, I feel so hopeful about things, and I feel that that exudes out of me, because I feel like my cup really is overflowing, and it can't help but spill onto other people. And that's not to say that there aren't bad days and a little something can happen, because it can. But I will tell you that my recovery from whatever it is much, much quicker than it was before. And I'm not hanging on to things, and I'm moving on to things, because my mindset is more geared towards a positivity and hopefulness and inspiration, because I'm filling my mind with that. I'm not staying in those places or watching things or reading things or being around groups that drag me down. I'm picking what I want to be in, that fulfill me, bring me up, build me up, things that I enjoy, that I look forward to, that I contribute to, and that people are liking that I'm contributing. I mean, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. I've created it for myself. It didn't come to me. I'm making it happen.
Right.
Is what's happening.
Right.
Yeah, you really have to be the creator. And you have, that's the fun part of this that I have been talking about lately, is really being the creator instead of just taking what you can get, because really the sky's the limit, and we sort of get caught in certain ways of thinking and being, but and then other people expect that of us, right? Because that's who we've been. But those are just choices you're making. You can make other choices. And so who, you know, a way to think about this that is so helpful, I think, is who are you showing up as? Who do you want to show up as?
Yes.
So when you're stuck in those places where you're not keeping promises to yourself, instead of going through, like I said, the debating and the arguing and all these different our usual ways of dealing with things and not dealing with things, ask yourself, who do I want to show up as? And what decision would that person make? What would be the next action that person would make to be in alignment with who I'm showing up as? And that's all you have to do. You don't have to, you know, decide every choice from there forward. You know, you don't have to overwhelm yourself with that. Just look at the choice in front of you and say, if this is who I'm showing up as, what's the choice, the obvious choice? What's the next thing?
Yes. And it's so wonderful. And to get that high compliment from my husband one time, I've shared this before. He said, it is such a relief to me that when I walk in this door, I know who you're going to be and what kind of mood you're going to be in, because before I did not know. And, you know, and I know that I made him walk on eggshells for a while, and I grew up in eggshells. So I certainly didn't want to project that, but that's what I was doing. So he comes in and he's excited because he knows he's going to be met with somebody that's excited. And I mean, and I'm proving that to him 10 times out of 10 now. And before he was like, oh, okay, what's going to be, you know, and I don't want to be that person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When we treat ourselves differently, I mean, and that's the key. It didn't start with him treating you differently or anything
No.
that he was doing.
No.
Because that's easy to get into. And I know you said he has lots of hobbies and things like that. And I
Right.
know for me, that would have been like, oh, you're just going to leave me to go
Right.
do this, you know, like
Right.
this is how we think. And so he didn't do anything differently. The difference
did not
came
do
with you
All
and
me.
how you started viewing yourself,
Mhm.
how you
Mhm.
started filling up your time. And then
That's right.
he's like, oh, okay, well, this is a new LT. And I'm, you know, like somebody that
Mhm.
is easier to be around and
Mhm.
more fun to be around and, you
Yeah.
know, easier to talk to and
It's
collaborate
obvious.
with. And yeah, so I mean, that's, you know, we have the ability to change those things. We can't control other people and
No.
their, you know, what they decide to do, but we can set boundaries around
Mhm.
what we allow
Mhm.
for ourselves and for
Sure
them.
can.
You know, I
Because
can
he
set a
still
boundary.
has,
Go ahead.
yes, he still has 10 million hobbies.
Yeah.
He has not changed one thing at all. And the
Yeah.
difference is me saying, well, I must be nice, go have fun, I'll just be here at home. Now it's like, bye, you have a good time. Because see, I'm already filled up. Yes, there you go. I'm filled up doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't depend on I'm not depending on him to make me happy because I have truly learned, and I mean, I'm telling you, I've learned it. Happiness is an inside job. And I
Mhm.
know that as well as I know my name. I mean, I'm telling you, I own it now.
That
Mhm.
is something I've even talked to my kids about, you know, because kids will start, you know, even at a young age, start being like, well, I'm bored. And, you know, and it becomes all about like, they want you to provide the happiness, you know,
Yeah,
and when they're little, of course, that's like,
well,
that's
sure.
right. But then at some point,
Yeah.
you know, like I had a conversation with my son and I was like, listen, it's not my job to make you happy. That's your job. You know,
Mhm.
so I'm here to take care of you, to love you, to provide as many opportunities for you as I can. You know, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of your happiness, that's you. And
Mhm.
it's never going to be anybody but you. And I
Mhm.
think if we could all start thinking that way at a much younger age, um, you know, it would save us a lot of time and trouble trying
Yeah.
to get other people to make us happy and act the way we want them to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And not thinking that your cup is half empty all the time, because all you have to do is pour out that cup and go fill it up yourself.
Right.
Mhm.
It's not
Right.
half
You're
empty.
not waiting. Yes. You're not waiting for when you are the creator, you're making the choices, then you know that you can do whatever you want.
That's
Mhm.
right.
You know, and some, you know, not to simplify, some decisions are harder than others, obviously. But the point is that there is never a time when you are not in control.
Mhm.
You were in control of your reaction to everything.
Everything
Right.
Mhm.
And you
and
own
your
that.
own actions.
And
You know,
nobody can take that away from you. Nobody.
that's yeah.
If you don't allow it to happen. Now you can allow it to happen, because I did, but I don't allow it to happen now. I've built
And
myself up in that area.
right. And that's empowerment. So when I
That's
talk
it.
about empowerment all the time, this is it. Empowerment lies in you taking responsibility for yourself.
Mhm.
That's where
Yep.
your empowerment is. And to
Mhm.
stop being in victim mode and you're blaming all of the circumstances and all of the
Mhm.
people and all of your past and this, that, and the
Yeah.
other.
That's
When
not
you
fair.
stop
Right.
all of that and
Mhm.
you take responsibility for yourself, that is empowering and it's freeing.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
Um,
Feel
and
like
you
you can
can,
fly. I can tell you that. You feel like the
yeah,
world is your oyster. It's
yeah,
just, what do you want to do today? I mean, it really is. The opportunities become very crystal clear
Mhm.
because you see them for what they are.
yeah,
Mhm.
And you pick and choose what opportunities come your way. Before, you glaze over them because you're in you
right,
don't
Mhm.
see them. It's a
right.
fresh set of eyes. And that's what we've talked about many times. It really is 2020 vision.
It is. And again, it is about setting boundaries with other people too, because
Yes.
you're not only draining yourself with all this arguing that you're doing with yourself, if you're fighting with other people about trying to keep your boundaries or you don't have any boundaries, then that's draining your energy as well.
Mhm.
So learning how to set those boundaries is also part of keeping promises to yourself, because the
Mhm.
more mental and emotional energy that you have for yourself, the better off you're going to be, and everybody around you is going to be, because they're going to be getting the best of you.
Mhm.
And it,
Everybody.
on your terms, on your terms, not on theirs.
That's right.
All right. Well, I hope this was helpful to everybody. This is such a great topic, and it's so important to realize that this journey is about more than just the number on the scale and the size that you're wearing. It's so many things go into this, and that's why my program is different. And I think the other thing that makes it really different, besides the one-on-one coaching, which Mary Lou was talking about with LT, you really, it really is one-on-one coaching. It's personal. It's conversations that you individually, privately have with your coach. But it's also our huge community. In addition to the mindset work that you have with me, it's our huge community of women who are all doing this together and supporting one another, and all setting boundaries in their lives. And it's inspirational to see these things. It's inspirational to have somebody come into the group and say, hey, I'm really struggling. My knees are buckling when I, just try to take a walk. And a few months later, they are posting a picture of themselves doing a side plank on a rock outside that they've hiked to. So it really, it matters. It matters to have that long-term community, and you never lose that with this program. You're always in the community with nothing more to pay, because I want people to succeed long-term. This is a lifestyle, and it's not something that you can just in a few months change your lifestyle. Having this community of people around you, always having that inspiration is just really important. So if you're interested in joining us, then you can send me a private message. You can also feel free to reach out to LT or Joanne. They're always willing to talk to anyone about what's going on with them as well. So Gina says, happy Friday. Everyone have a nice weekend. Anna says, this was very helpful. Needed to hear this again, feeling uplifted already. So that's amazing to hear. So I know a lot of you are really, really busy. May is typically here in the United States, one of the busiest months for all of us. So take care of yourself. If you need the support, reach out, and we will see you next week. Have a great weekend.
See ya. Bye.